Starting over in another country often feels like the perfect escape. But sometimes, the search for a better life leads to the exact opposite, and can even take everything away. Anna Koval was born in Eastern Europe. As a teenager, she became seriously ill. Doctors in her home country failed to treat her properly, and the incorrect medical care put her life in danger. At that time, her grandparents were living in Italy. They were relatives on her father's side, and her father himself had strong ties to the country. After long discussions, the family made a difficult decision. Anna would move to Italy to receive proper medical treatment. After relocating, she underwent 2 major surgeries. The recovery was long, and during that time she attended a local Italian school. Slowly, her health improved. She learned the language, made friends, and adapted to a new life. Italy soon felt like home. Her parents decided she should stay with her grandparents, not only because she had settled in, but because she now had access to higher quality health care. Later, her father returned to Italy to support her, while her mother lived abroad. Anna was young, attractive, and full of dreams. She imagined a beautiful life in sunny Italy. She trained as a cosmetologist and hoped to build a career. But reality turned out to be much harsher. After finishing school, Anna moved to a small town near Lake Garda, a quiet place with a population of around 20,000 people. She found work as a waitress in a local cafe. The owner, Maria S., and her daughter Elena welcomed her warmly. Anna was responsible, hardworking, and quickly earned their trust. Maria also had a son, Victor S. He didn't work at the cafe, but spent a lot of time there. That's how he met Anna. At first, their connection seemed harmless. Soon, it turned into a romantic relationship. By the age of 23, Anna had already lived in Italy for 8 years. Victor was 10 years older than her. The first year seemed perfect, but when Anna introduced him to her father, something fell off. Her father sensed something disturbing about Victor's behavior. Still, Anna was an adult, and he chose not to interfere. Over time, Victor began to change. He drank heavily. He partied constantly. He refused to work. And according to his sister, he occasionally used drugs. Anna stayed silent. She believed love could fix him. She hoped things would improve. But while she dreamed of stability and family, Victor wanted control, not commitment. And staying with him would later cost her everything. A few weeks before the new year of 2022, the arguments became more frequent. Anna could no longer stay silent. The stress was overwhelming. She confided in close friends and family, admitting that Victor constantly started fights fueled by jealousy. His obsession reached a disturbing level. She couldn't be alone in peace even for a few minutes. He called nonstop. He sent message after message. Even when he went out partying, he demanded to know where she was at every moment. This behavior began interfering with her work at the cafe. Victor distracted her constantly, and although his mother and sister tried to smooth things over, the tension only grew. Shortly after the beginning of 2023, another argument erupted, one that felt different from all the others. That's when Anna finally understood the truth. Victor wasn't just jealous. He was manipulative and emotionally cruel. His idea of love had become dangerous. Anna realized that building a family with such a man would mean a lifetime of control, not happiness. She didn't share her decision with anyone at first, wanting to handle it alone. But the thought of leaving him had already taken root. Eventually, she called her father. She told him she had given Victor one last chance. She wanted peace, stability, and a normal life. But Victor barely came home, while still controlling her every move. Instead of solving problems, he drank and disappeared for days. And when he was home, living with him became unbearable. Anna saw only one way out: to end the relationship. A few days later, she called her father again and said Victor hadn't been home for a long time. She admitted she was done for good. Her father supported the decision. Together, they began looking for a new apartment. Anna wanted to stay in the same neighborhood, close to work, a place she loved. That very day, Victor returned. Anna didn't wait for another fight. She broke up with him immediately. Her belongings were already packed. She had a temporary place to stay. Victor's sister, Elena, offered her a room. The apartment was in the same building as the cafe. It was meant to be temporary, just until Anna found her own place. She moved out that same day. For Victor, this was a devastating blow. He couldn't accept the breakup. He called Anna dozens of times a day, begging her to come back. At first, it looked like heartbreak, but soon, his true nature resurfaced. When persuasion failed, Victor turned to stalking. He followed her, called constantly. His behavior grew aggressive. He even made thinly veiled threats. It was frightening, but Anna didn't take it seriously at first. She believed it would pass, that his feelings would fade, that he would return to partying and forget about her. For a short time, he did. Victor stopped contacting her. Anna tried to move forward. She still believed in love and didn't want to be alone. She was surrounded by friends and an active social circle. Among them was a young man named Daniel. One evening, they met with friends at a bar. Anna felt an immediate connection and suggested a walk afterward. Daniel agreed. The feeling was mutual. Soon, they began dating. This changed everything. Victor hadn't let go. He quickly learned that Anna was seeing someone new, and the jealousy returned with explosive force. Confronting them openly was risky, so Victor chose a different approach. He was well known in the town due to his family's business connections. Using this influence, he learned which restaurants Anna and Daniel visited most often. Then, he contacted employees at those places. He asked them to notify him whenever his wife showed up with another man. Some refused, but eventually, a few agreed to help. Victor lied, claiming they were married, that she was cheating, and that he had been trying to catch her for months. He left his phone number with several staff members, and from that moment on, Anna was never truly out of his sight. By January 19th, 2023, Anna was still living with Elena while searching for her own apartment. That evening, she planned to go out for dinner with her new boyfriend, Daniel. Before leaving, she asked Victor's mother to look after her dog. Despite the breakup, Anna remained on good terms with Victor's mother and sister. They fully supported her decision to leave him and continued helping her. Victor's mother lived nearby, in the same apartment building as her son. That night, Anna and Daniel dropped off the dog, then headed to a restaurant for dinner. What Anna didn't know was that the restaurant owner was one of the people secretly reporting her movements to Victor. As soon as he saw her, he made the call. Victor was furious, and this time he decided to act. He called Anna and claimed that her dog had suddenly fallen ill. According to him, they had rushed the animal to a veterinary clinic and would bring it back home afterward. Anna panicked, worried about her pet. She agreed to come over and check on the situation. At around 2 a.m. on January 20th, 2023, Anna and Daniel left the restaurant. They drove to the apartment of Victor's mother. Victor was there. He told them the dog was still receiving treatment and promised to bring her back as soon as possible. Anna didn't want to be alone with him. She asked Victor to call once everything was resolved and said she would wait at Elena's apartment instead. Daniel drove her to the neighboring building and dropped her off. He offered to stay with her and wait together, concerned about the late hour and Victor's past behavior. Anna refused. She remained calm, convinced Victor's threats meant nothing. Believing he had already moved on, she went inside. Daniel stayed outside for a short time. A few minutes later, he received a message. Anna texted that the building's security cameras were working and that she felt safe. Then she asked him to go home. Everything seemed fine. Reluctantly, Daniel left. Several hours later, a driver traveling along a rural highway noticed a man walking along the roadside. The driver stopped to help. The man introduced himself as Victor and asked for a ride into town, claiming his car was stuck in a field. He was dirty, nervous, and visibly shaken. When the driver asked what had happened, Victor suddenly confessed that he had killed his ex-girlfriend. The driver didn't believe him. The story sounded too unreal. Still, he kept his word and drove Victor back into town. Once home, Victor contacted his sister. The first thing he told her was chilling. "I killed Anna." He claimed she had betrayed him, humiliated him, and that she deserved to pay for it with her life. At first, his sister didn't believe him either, but she knew her brother too well. She decided to check for herself. By morning, the workday had already begun. Anna should have been at the cafe hours ago. She never showed up. Elena called her mother. Anna wasn't just late. She wasn't answering calls, messages, or anyone trying to reach her. And at that moment, everyone realized something was terribly wrong. After that call, Elena got in her car and drove straight to her brother's apartment. There, Victor repeated his confession. He said he had killed his ex-girlfriend. He gave no details. Worse, he acted disturbingly calm, even joking about it. That behavior made his words hard to believe at first. But too many details pointed to one thing. He might be telling the truth. Elena contacted the police. At the same time, Victor took her car and drove back to the field, where his vehicle had supposedly been stuck. He managed to pull out of the mud. When he returned to his apartment, the police were already waiting for him. Anna was officially missing. Her phone was turned off. No one knew where she was. Then investigators discovered something strange. Before disappearing, Anna had sent messages to several friends, including Elena, saying she needed to leave for a while, clear her head, and rest. She wrote that she was exhausted and couldn't handle everything anymore. After that, all contact stopped. However, police had already spoken to Elena and Daniel. They established that the last time Anna was seen alive, she entered Elena's apartment. Despite Victor's confession, Daniel initially became a suspect, but he had a solid alibi. He appeared on multiple surveillance cameras, and witnesses confirmed his movements. After reviewing the footage, all suspicion against him was dropped. The focus returned to Victor. At first, investigators believed Anna had been kidnapped. There were no signs of violence inside the apartment. They considered the possibility of accomplices. For a time, suspicion fell on Victor's entire family. Elena, in particular, seemed suspicious. She had let her brother leave and could have distracted authorities, but she claimed she hadn't been home that night. Victor had keys to her apartment and knew she was away, giving him both access and opportunity. Phone records showed that during his trip to retrieve the stuck car, Victor spent a long time on the phone with his mother. What they discussed remains unknown. She refused to testify against her son. Soon after, the 34-year-old Victor was arrested and formally charged with kidnapping and murder. His earlier casual attitude vanished. Victor went silent. He refused to cooperate. He wouldn't say what happened. He wouldn't say where Anna was. He wouldn't say where he had taken her or her body. The situation was critical. There was still hope she might be alive. Search teams combed through all family-owned properties outside the city. Nothing. Surveillance footage and witness statements soon confirmed the worst fears. Investigators established that around 2:30 a.m., Victor entered Elena's apartment, the place where Anna was waiting for news about her dog. He didn't leave until nearly 5 a.m. Security cameras captured him entering empty-handed. But when he exited the building hours later, something was different. Victor was dragging a large black suitcase. It looked heavy, so heavy that he could barely move it. Investigators soon came to a disturbing conclusion. Based on the evidence, they believed Anna had been killed inside the apartment, and that her body had been concealed inside the suitcase seen on camera. How Victor managed to do this so quickly and without leaving obvious traces remained a mystery. What was clear, however, was that the suitcase had been taken outside, loaded into a car, and driven away, most likely to dispose of the body. Hour after hour passed. Victor remained silent. Anna's father went to the media, publicly pleading for help in finding his daughter. Soon after, her mother, Irina, who lived and worked in Canada, joined the search. The parents appealed directly to Victor, begging him to say where Anna was. The case dominated the news. Volunteers searched day and night. People gathered in the town square, demanding justice, and holding Anna's ex-boyfriend responsible for her disappearance. As public pressure grew, authorities expanded the search. Helicopters, drones, search dogs, divers. Hundreds of volunteers joined police and rescue teams. Days passed, with no results. Despite their fears, Anna's family clung to hope. The critical first 48 hours had not yet passed. They believed she might still be alive. But time kept moving. There was no phone activity, no bank transactions, no social media use. 11 days later, on February 1st, 2023, a local resident walking through a wooded area on the outskirts of town noticed something suspicious near a dirt road. A pile of branches looked out of place. When he approached, he saw something beneath them, a large suitcase. There was a strong, unmistakable odor. The man immediately contacted police and waited nearby without touching anything. When officers arrived, they opened the suitcase. Inside was the body of a young woman. Forensic testing later confirmed that the victim was 23-year-old Anna. Even after being informed that her body had been found, Victor continued to remain silent and refused to cooperate with investigators. His mother quickly hired a defense attorney, known for handling high-profile homicide cases. Both sides prepared for a long legal battle. Due to the condition of the remains, forensic specialists needed several days to complete a full examination. Investigators worked carefully, trying to determine what Anna had endured and exactly how she died. Her family made their position clear. They would seek the harshest possible sentence. They did not want Victor to ever be free again. On February 10th, family and friends gathered to say goodbye to Anna. And during the funeral, something unexpected happened. A young woman, unknown to anyone present, approached the coffin. She calmly stated that she should be the one lying there. The family's lawyer overheard her words and immediately realized their importance. He approached the woman and began asking her detailed questions. What she revealed would change the entire case. It turned out that the mysterious woman at the funeral had once been Victor's girlfriend, 3 years before Anna's murder. Back then, they lived in Moldova. She had grown exhausted from the relationship. Victor had been abusive, humiliating, and controlling, demanding total obedience. Most of the time, she stayed alone in her room, while he went out with friends, drinking heavily. Whenever he returned, arguments erupted, usually fueled by his jealousy. One evening, fed up with the abuse, she told him she was leaving for Italy. Victor, enraged, attacked her, striking her multiple times in the head. But she fought back. In the struggle, she managed to kick him in the head, knocking him down and rendering him unconscious for a few seconds. Seizing the opportunity, she grabbed his passport and residence permit from the hotel drawer, then destroyed them. That move delayed him for a year while he restored his documents. She immediately sought medical help, receiving treatment for the injuries he had inflicted. By law, the hospital was required to contact the police. They did, but she refused to file a report, fearing the legal process would force her to travel back and forth repeatedly. And she wanted to start fresh in Italy. Years later, she agreed to testify against her former boyfriend in the trial for Anna's murder. Investigators used this testimony to reconstruct the tragic night of Anna's death. Minutes after Anna returned to Elena's apartment, and Daniel had left, Victor arrived. He used his key to enter Elena's home. The dogs were not with him, revealing that the dog's story had been a ruse. Immediately, he attacked the young woman, accusing her of betrayal. Anna tried to reason with him, reminding him that their relationship had ended long ago. But Victor was consumed by rage. He struck her with a heavy metal sculpture in the room. Anna lost consciousness. When she regained it briefly, he struck her again. Then he began to strangle her. Finally, he managed, with difficulty, to stuff her into a black suitcase. Here's the horrifying part. Forensic experts later confirmed that Anna was still alive when she was placed inside the suitcase. The injuries she had sustained were serious, but not fatal. Victor sealed the suitcase with plastic wrap and tape. Inside, she struggled for 10 to 15 minutes, fighting for air as he prepared the scene, changing the bloodied bedding, washing away traces on the floor. Thanks to surveillance footage from the apartment building, investigators saw him drag the suitcase outside, load it into his car, and drive toward the field where his vehicle had been stuck. It all happened within minutes. While Victor was attempting to dispose of the body, he dragged it deep into the woods. A local woman, returning home, noticed him. Startled, Victor fled. She apparently didn't realize what had happened and didn't report it. Because of heavy rain, his car became stuck in the mud. He decided to continue on foot. Along the way, a passing driver gave him a ride. Victor confessed to the driver that he had killed Anna, but the man didn't believe him. Using Anna's phone, Victor sent messages to her friends, pretending she had left town, hoping to buy himself time and create an alibi. But his plan failed. The prosecution demanded 30 years in prison for Victor, who had previously researched how to make poison at home. The prosecution argued that the crime had been premeditated, but in the end, the court did not find sufficient evidence of intent. Victor was found guilty, and his sentence was reduced by a third to 20 years. The court also ordered him to pay 450,000 euros in compensation to Anna's parents and her paternal grandparents. Anna's father disagreed with the verdict and demanded a life sentence. He plans to appeal in hopes of achieving justice for his daughter. If you found this story compelling, subscribe to the channel and support the video with a like. Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss this shocking case together.